afternoon. Today we'll be going over a PowerPoint that will be talking about silent killers of our streets. Addiction. You were never created to live depressed, defeated, guilty, condemned, ashamed, or unworthy. You were created to be victorious. As an anonymous quote said online, drugs are killing people daily, and we have to put stories out here in order to educate those around us that may be in the same situations. Now, we all know at least one of you here have had a family member or a friend,
my cousin,
that was addicted to drugs, and this is a little information on information on addiction and how to help them and how it affects families. More than 70,200 Americans died from drug overdoses in 2017, including illicit drugs and prescription opioids, a twofold increase in a decade. Most signs of drug abuse are evident. Things like track marks, distinctive smells, acting differently, being aggressive, things like that. Drugs became a big epidemic around the early 1900s, and here's a website that seems very resourceful in the research of drugs in the U.S. The website is basically a rehab center that gives history on the different drugs and when they came about in the United States. If you all would like that information, you can ask me after the presentation.
okay.
This is a chart based upon the deaths of overdose by each different drug that people become addicted to. So they have here narcotics, prescription opioids, heroin, cocaine, and antidepressants, and many of other things. Drug addiction is a disease. It takes over everything, clouds your judgment, makes you reliant. The drugs make you think that it's okay. It betrays your trust, settles in your nervous system, and it becomes the only thing you can think about. With that being said, addiction doesn't happen overnight, or the first time that someone takes the drug. It takes time for someone to get addicted to it. The first initial drug experience isn't the actual addiction. That's just trying it out, and then they like what they felt, and then it becomes addiction once they make it a habit and it starts affecting the rest of their life. So when your family member or friend is on drugs, they don't care how it affects the ones around them, because the drug is beneficial to their disease, which leads to my next point. A growing body of literature suggests that substance abuse has distinct effects on different family structures. For example, the parent of small children may attempt to compensate for deficiencies that his or her substance abusing spouse has developed as a consequence of that substance abuse. With that being said, personally, I know there's plenty of people who have had a parent or loved one that has affected their life by being on drugs, and seeing them in that state could really bother you, and you really want, help for them. How impactful is addiction on families? When addiction takes over a spouse, child, parent, etc., it almost always affects the immediate family directly and indirectly. Some families make this mistake of enabling the behavior, therefore making the situation worse. Some force rehabilitation on the loved one which may drive them away. There are millions of children in the system due to drug-addicted parents. And some addicts even steal from their families to support their habits.
My cousin.
What are your thoughts on how drugs affect families? Go ahead.
Well, I think that drugs really destroy families, break up marriages, and really destroy children. Because when they see their parents on drugs, they don't know which way to go.
That's true. And some even pick up those habits
That's
or
right.
run to the streets and end up dead way before their parents even end up, passing away. So
That's right.
Crack is whack.
how do we help? First, help by not being a persecutor or in denial that our loved one needs help. Educate yourself on the drug and how it affects the person and what happened to get that person to being addicted to that drug. Usually it comes from them dealing with something that they don't want to deal with. Realize that addiction happens over time, so therefore it takes much time to undo. Try to set them up with the proper help.
Rehab.
If help is denied, don't give up.
Help them.
Stay that positive force through the good and the bad. Be consistent with helping, but don't forget about yourself in the process. Meaning, you have to be healthy yourself in order to help someone else.
That's right.
Here's where I got all my information from. To close, I have provided statistics and symptoms on how drug abuse affects families, how to help the addict in your life. Remember that it is a disease and force no verdict on one's current actions. With the right people behind them, it is promising that they too can be successful in recovery like many others who are dedicated to drug-free lives. Addiction begins with the hope that something out there can instantly fill up the emptiness inside, said Gene Kilborn. So will you make that step to help someone or yourself?
I will.
Because like Beth Wilson said, we honor ourselves when we speak out for recovery. We show the world that recovery matters because it brings hope and peace into the life